tell me about the world of Jacob New. What's new in your world, man?
Dude, yeah, it's the same stuff. New year. But even with COVID, like a lot of the things that I'm doing is like pretty similar. Classes, I'm reffing soccer,
Yeah.
going to Bible study, or I'm helping lead Bible study this year, and which has been
Nice.
just so much fun to be able to plan those sort of things.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. How is so how the Bud Ministry thing, right?
Yeah, Bud Ministries.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's awesome. It's going good.
Dude, so good. Yeah, it's a
Well, I
blast this
imagine-
year. Oh,
I
go.
imagine. I mean, being in Texas, you're not really gonna have that much of a problem with it out there.
Yeah, well, everywhere around us it's like fine, but on campus it's like you gotta be wearing your mask and like
Oh,
otherwise
wow.
you'll get written up. If you get written up twice, it's sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Micah just said he can't join tonight.
ah, lame.
Jerk.
The
That's cool. No, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that that's going good, and I'm glad that you guys are able to do that. That sounds really awesome. What else is new in your life, man? How's your family?
Yeah, they're good. Actually, my brother is now. So he was living in Houston, but he's moving to Dallas, which will be cool because that's where my
Oh,
parents live. So
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
nice
that's
and
awesome.
close. So,
That's
yeah.
really cool. Have you been watching any good like movies or TV shows lately?
I just started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. Just
Oh.
cycling through. You know,
Ooh.
going
Dude,
back
have you
again.
seen WandaVision? The WandaVision, like,
I don't know what I think about superhero TV shows. It's never been like a big
dude,
thing of
it's
mine.
so good. It's honestly like and I get that, like, some superhero TV shows like are pretty cheesy, you know, like especially like Agents of Shield was kind of cheesy. It was like
Yeah.
whatever, and then you have like the DC ones like Arrow and Flash. I like them, but they're like, it's definitely a specific type of people. But the new Marvel ones like WandaVision and now what's gonna be Winter Soldier and Falcon, those are like, they're not even like TV shows. They're like movie quality. Like even the
Really?
they have like wide angle shots, so it looks like a movie, but it's just so good. It's so good.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, because like I haven't seen any of it. Is it 45-minute episodes or like an hour long episode, right? Or is
they're like 30-minute
oh,
episodes.
30 minutes. Okay,
but
so
they go by, well, the last one's an hour, the last episode, but like they're very high quality in how they film it. And like WandaVision was just a whole mind trip, because at first, the first two episodes, you're thinking it's just this really weird spin-off show, but then you start noticing these little things. You're like, hold up, there's these little things that are happening. You're like, something is not right. And then out of nowhere, it just flips the whole thing. You're like, what am I watching right now? And it's just like a freaking mind game. It's so crazy. But and then it was only one season, so it's already over.
Yeah.
And it was so good. Oh, and I think the Marvel TV shows are important because they actually inform you about certain things that you'll see in future movies. Kind of similar to how, like, before you watch Avengers, you gotta watch like Iron Man and Captain America and
course,
these
yeah.
things that are added. So the TV shows are now adding to that. You have to like be in the loop on this, or else you're gonna miss some key things whenever the next movie comes out.
Yeah.
And so that's really good. And yeah, I think I've finally finished all the TV shows that were on my list. Like, I just finished WandaVision. I just finished I finished Karate Kid season 3.
Ooh.
I finished, or not Karate Kid, sorry, Cobra Kai.
the
Cobra
Cobra
Kai,
Kai,
yeah, Cobra
I
Kai
know what you
season
meant.
3. Yeah, and then what else should I watch? Just caught up. I watched Ant-Man for the first time, but
Really?
yeah, I just, it was one of those things, like, I saw the second Ant-Man in theaters, and I saw
Oh
like
my
everything. I just never saw the first one. I don't know why. Mainly just
Great
because I
movie.
already knew who Ant-Man was. Like, I kind of knew the whole story behind it, and I don't know, but it was really good. So, well, anyways, man. So anything else that's new, man? Making good friendships and
No, nothing else too much that I can think of right now.
That's
I'm
good.
working production at church, which is super fun. I'm like
Nice.
cameraman and stuff like that, so that's been fun, but nothing too
that's
major.
really cool. No special ladies in your life yet? Ones who
No,
move your
no.
heart.
No, nothing yet.
They're missing out, man. The ladies
know,
are missing
man.
out.
Hey, one day, all in good timing, right?
All in good timing. That's good. Dude, I'm so tired these days. I literally have been just like nonstop working. Like if I'm not writing the paper, then I'm literally sitting down and writing a new script for a YouTube video and then filming the video and editing the video. And that itself is just like I literally do it where I'll film it on a Friday night and edit it on a Saturday and then post it to or schedule it to post for Monday. And but that the amount of work that I'll crunch into that time, I literally spend the entire day just doing that because I don't have the time throughout the week to do it. But man, like I this past weekend, I literally got 3 hours of sleep on Saturday because I like written, filmed, edited all the. I was just
All
up
this
so
stuff.
late. I was still for some reason exhausted from that, and but doing my best because I'm trying to figure out the best way to whenever I write stuff out for these new videos that I'm making. Like I did it for the last two videos where I wrote out the script and then the video becomes a YouTube video, but then I have specific sections that are highlighted to turn it and be shrunk into a 60-second like TikTok or
Yeah.
Instagram reel and then on top of that then the written portion I'm going to turn into like Instagram like actual text posts that'll be put out for Instagram. So it's like it's like trying to crunch all of it in there and it's just yeah, gosh, it is just crazy. I'm trying to figure out how to make sure I can put out good consistent content for the YouTube world and try to get that ball rolling. So,
Yeah,
that's all I've
absolutely.
been up to.
Yeah, your
So,
videos are great, man. I really do enjoy watching them. So
thank you.
for all
What
those out there, watch
which
the
one?
Simply Love Jesus YouTube channel.
That's right. Yeah, you can if you are enjoying the podcast episodes, we have a YouTube channel and I really want to try to emphasize that platform just because I think it has the most potential to reach young adults and to encourage them. And so, yeah, if you are a high schooler, college student, or a young adult, young pro, then or somewhere in your 20s, it's really that content's geared for you all. And so, feel free to check out the YouTube channel. But when watching the videos, were there any that were like moments that were like boring or any videos that you're like, oh, it was okay?
I can't, not off the top of my head, can I like name out one? I
Yeah,
feel like there's probably a couple where I was like felt that way, but like I don't remember
yeah,
specifically which ones.
yeah. Definitely let me know in the future when as more videos come out, just because I want to make sure that it's always solid content. And if
Yeah.
there's one that's like off, I'm like, okay, what didn't work here? That algorithm is I'm trying to figure that out because for some reason two videos just like and we're only got 25 subscribers, so you're only getting
Yeah.
about like 25 views, maybe 50 views. And then for some reason a short, which is like the YouTube Shorts is a new thing where it literally is just it's a short, it's like a TikTok video. It goes up to 60 seconds and it's its own vertical format. And one of those videos got just like boosted to 600 views for no reason, and I was like, what in the world? And so I'm trying to pick up like why did this one take off. And then the next one was one where it was all about the bottom line was it's okay to not be okay, and that one got up to 300 views. And so I was looking at those two things and I was like, all right, what is it about these two videos that I can replicate? And trying to figure out if it was just the content. And I'm trying to find out how to do really good thumbnails. That's the other thing
Yeah,
because
that's huge.
I like the thumbnail. Like I like the theme of the thumbnails that I'm doing so far with them. Because I like the very simple, just black on a like white text on a black screen. But I want to figure out how can I use that even more to just make it a little bit more eye grabbing without adding any pictures or anything like that to it. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. But
What What's cool about that is right now that is almost more eye grabbing because you're looking for a design. It's like, oh, it's just black and white text.
yeah,
Oh, that's different. Don't see that very often.
in the thick of all the big blah kind of
Yeah,
thumbnails, this one
exactly.
just like oh okay, that's easy. All right.
Hmm.
So it's just it's being strategic and trying to figure out what text you put on the thumbnail. That's what
Yeah.
I think really like the most recent one. I like it a lot, but we'll see how it performs because the most recent one, the text just said decrease depression by being present. decrease depression by being present. The title of the video is how to be totally present. How it's all about, and that's what we're talking about in this episode, is how do you be present? And so being present is something that I feel like is a huge issue within our society. And so that's what we're actually going to talk about in this podcast episode, primarily because what I tried to do didn't work. And what I tried to do was I was trying to do a one-stop shop. I recorded the video, and while I was recording the video, I tried to like take the audio from recording recording into what a GarageBand, and I tried to take that direct recording and then use that as the podcast episode after I had edited it all down. But there was so much fluff space, and then after I edited it down, I couldn't download the video and put the audio back in Garage. So I was just like, forget it, we're just gonna do its own episode. Because I was trying to do it where I'm like, after I'm done filming in one session, I'll have a blog post, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, podcast, all recorded smack right there, and then released on Monday. But we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. So, but yeah, man. So tonight's episode today, really depends when you're listening to this. But this episode, we want to talk about presence, and where this idea came from is the other day I was talking to I was hanging out, and I was trying to write content for what will have become the most recent episode for YouTube, and my friend Reese gave me a phone call, and he was like, "Hey dude, like, do you want to help me move a piano?" And I was like, "Sure, like, why not?" And it was $100, and I was like, "Why not? Let's go move a piano get a couple hours work in." And we get there, and the piano, it's not like this rinky-dink old piano that most people would have. This is like a $10,000 grand Beethoven level piano, and oh my goodness, man. I still can't even I can't even grip because my arms are just like all the muscles in my arm are just shattered. And so we got done with that, and then we went to dinner. And when we went to dinner, I just remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to pull out my phone. I'm not going to check Instagram. I'm not going to check Facebook. I'm not going to do any of that. And I just sat down. We just talked about life, talked about whatever. And at the end of that time, and we got dinner and we hung out, we went home, and I just realized, I was like, oh, that was a really good time. That was a really good conversation. And I thought about why was it a good conversation? Well, it was a good conversation because I was present. I wasn't on my phone. I was just focused on my food and talking to Reese and just having a good time. And it just made me remember man, we have such a problem with being in the moment, with immersing ourselves in the moment in today's society. And so, yeah, what I want to talk about is just what does it mean to be present, and what is your experience when it comes to being in the moment and present? Have you ever felt like you have a problem with being disconnected, or do you notice that even among your friends and stuff like that? I don't know.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. That's actually a huge thing right now with my whole friend group and everything. It's oh man, we're all on social media way too much. So we all right, we're deleting it to get rid of temptations, or we're putting time limits to using screen time. So that's definitely been a huge thing, because a lot of times we'll be hanging out and it's oh, we're sitting on Instagram, hanging out, scrolling through Instagram. Oh, why are we even together if we're just looking at Instagram?
Yeah.
So many good conversations have been coming after that, and we start talking about random different things, which has been super cool. It's pretty recent too, so it's really funny that you brought up this topic, and it's
the Lord's will right there, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is the intercession of the Spirit of God. That's awesome. So tell me about those experiences. So how long have y'all been really talking about hey, let's just not use our phones kind of thing?
Well, it was an idea that was actually thrown out in November, and one of my friends, his name's actually Jacob, and he's like, hey, what if we just deleted off all the apps on our phone for next semester? And I was like, yeah, right, whatever. Never gonna last.
Yeah, right. What loser would do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's funny.
But then it came up again, and we did like 2-3 weeks ago, and we put.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, maybe you bring up this. Send them the YouTube video and just say, boom, we were just talking about this.
There it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be interested if y'all just decided, even if it's not just deleting all your apps, but if you just decided, hey, from now on, when we hang out, all of us are just putting our phones away and leaving them in the car, leave them in our room or something like that, and then we all just meet up and hang out. And then that'd be an interesting project to see what would that look like. What would happen if you all just went out downtown and hung out, but you left your phones in your car, except for like the nominated person who just, you know, has their phone on airplane mode just in case, you know, or leaves it in their backpack in case there's an emergency or something. But the rest of y'all just leave your phones in your room and leave it and just see what happens. And I wonder what that experience would be like.
Oh, well, it's like when you go to camp, like back whenever we went to camp like a few years ago, you don't have your phones or on trips or like, and it's so much better. And it's like, how am I going to go without my phone for a week?
Oh yeah. And then you go through summer camp and then and you're like, oh, this is the best ever. Especially when you're working summer camps. That's like some of the best memories. Like, because you don't have your phones out the whole time because you're having to be with staff and stuff like that, and you're not allowed to take it with you. Oh yeah.
Oh, I miss it. Can't wait to go back. Can't wait.
Dude, that's awesome. Man. Yeah, so even with being present, and when I try to think about it and have reflected on it, thinking about the idea of being present, I take a moment and I just reflect on what Jesus did. And one of the bottom lines that I wanted to kind of get people to walk away with and understanding this idea of being present is that your priorities determine your focus. So that was the bottom line for the video, and what I wanted people to walk away with is that your priorities determine your focus. So it's the idea is that when you're struggling to be present with your group of friends or with your family, and you're struggling to be able to be in the moment, and your mind is off somewhere else, you're scrolling on Instagram, you're scrolling on whatever, and you're finding that you struggle with these things, it's because what you're thinking about. So let's say I'm hanging out with my friends and I'm thinking about, like if I'm thinking about an argument that I had with someone or so-and-so, and I'm just dwelling on that. I'm dwelling on this argument, or I'm dwelling on my job, some event that happened, a relationship ended. I'm thinking about that, and I cannot be in the moment with my friends. That's because the thing that you're dwelling on is more of a priority than your friends. It's more of a priority. If you're dwelling on your ex and you cannot be present with your friends, that's because your ex is more of a priority than your friends. Which sucks, because you want to be able to hang out with the friends who actually care about you, and that means you're robbing yourself of joy by dwelling on these things that are only taking away from you. They're not giving to you, rather than being in the moment with your friends. And so the answer to that is, well, how do I fix this? It's shifting my priorities. If I shift my priorities, I will shift my focus. Does it make sense?
Yeah, and even in that scenario, you could even be like, talk to your friends about, like, hey, why am I still dwelling on my ex? Why am I like, help me move past this? What's up? Like, obviously, like, if you like very situation. I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, talking to your friends is obviously good about what's going on in your head, but like, would that help you be more present, or would it be more of a distraction to your priority?
I think it would. Yeah, I think talking about what you're dwelling on with the friends in the moment is probably a great way to help realign your focus, because when you verbalize that, now you're not just keeping it tucked inside, you're verbalizing it outside, and you get the opportunity for your friends to now pull you out of that mindset. If they're really your friends and you're sitting down with them and you're able to tell them, like, hey, I'm struggling being present right now because I'm dwelling on this. I just can't stop thinking about what he did to me, or what she did to me, or what this person said to me, or what my mom told me today, or whatever. Your friends hear that and they were like, oh, well, guess what? Gonna get you out of that. Like, we're going bowling. I don't know. We're going to get some tacos tonight. And so like, they're gonna bring you out of that and just say, however your friends do it, they will either say, hey, I understand, or they're gonna help pull you out of it. But the best thing you can do is just like, in the moment, and you realize that you're struggling and you can't get that mindset out of your mind, then just say it out loud. Just say, hey, man, I'm struggling with this because I'm dwelling on this right now. And if you're able to, one of the things that, talk about in the video is, how do you shift your priorities? How do you be more present? one of the things I would do is focus on your immediate surroundings. So if you don't want to talk about what you're dwelling on, but you also want to be present in the moment, you focus on your immediate surroundings. Like I'm sitting here and I think about, what's the color chair that I'm sitting in? Well, it's black. It's a leather chair, and I'm sitting in front of a desk that has the ability to move up and down, and it's really cool because there's this like little like lever switch that I get to rotate it, and it goes in a circular motion, and so I can rotate that and raise the desk, and that's really cool. And then I've got my laptop, and I'm watching as I'm recording the audio, and it's going up and down and up. And those are the things you think about your immediate surroundings, and by focusing on your immediate surroundings, you're helping ground your mind in what is current and what is present. For lack of better words, what is in the moment. And if how you're doing this with your friends is you're thinking about what they're saying. You ask them, what'd you do today? And as they're talking about what they did today, you're thinking about their actual words. And when they think about their actual words, visualize if they're telling you a story, visualize the story. Paint that word picture as if what their words that they're telling you is a TV show and you're playing it in your mind. Those little things, I think, help people become really present.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, a good question to ask is how can you be present in your relationship with God, with the Almighty?
With the Almighty. Yeah, that's a great question, and it's again funny that you bring this up because my church is doing this whole series about how can we be better in our prayer lives, and we're doing this prayer challenge of how can we seek out God's face, and they've been giving us a lot of like helpful tips for that. So the first one is make a consistent time to get up in the morning, get your reading in, and also with this prayer challenge, set aside time to pray. And they gave us like a book. It's called Draw the Circle 40-day challenge, and basically you draw circles, metaphorical or literal circles around things that you want to pray about, and just starting your day off right with that, it gets my mind thinking for the rest of the day. Oh, how can I be praying? Like when I'm walking in class, I can be praying right now because I've got nothing else going on. Might as well as shoot up a quick prayer and try and be present with God.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super good. I think those are great tips for being present in your relationship with God and being, trying to build that consistency and so on, and continuing to be intentional. And one of the things that I would always encourage people is like, even before they do their Bible study, take time to meditate. When you're sitting down and praying, take a moment to slow down, focus on your breathing. Like one of the things that I do whenever I go to meditate and pray and then read my Bible is I will literally try, whenever I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, and I'll literally try to visualize what would it look like to visualize like the wind, like the air going in through my nose, going into my, like going down my neck into my lungs, all the way from my head, feeling like it's almost like it's like as if you're tracing the blood vessels, but it's like going all the way down your arms, feeling all the way down to your feet, like all the way. And then when you exhale, it's like all that stuff is coming back out of you. And that visualization helps, at least for me, slow my mind down. And when I'm slowing my mind down, then I afterwards take some time in silence. And then as I'm studying scripture, just, visualizing it and just trying to immerse yourself in that experience. And those little things, I think, really help someone to be intentional and be present and in immersing themselves in the moment with their relationship with God.
Yeah, absolutely. That quiet time, if you can ever be like just quiet and try and kind of like what you're saying, that breathing, that'll change your life, man, if you can do it consistently, which I haven't been. But I mean, like just doing it a couple of times, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this more often. Like set a timer for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, it really helps reset your day, and it really helps kind of just reset your mood, and really helpful for sure. So yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to doing that heart check and that heart challenge of saying, if I'm struggling to be present, if I'm struggling to make God the emphasis of my life, if I'm struggling to keep, be present with my friends or my family, it's at the end of the day, as harsh as it sounds, it's because they're not as high of a priority as whatever is going on in your mind. And so when you see it that way, then you can challenge yourself and say, oh, well, man, if my focus is determined by my priorities and I'm not focusing on these people, I need to change my focus. I need to shift my priorities because your priorities determine your focus. And I want to be focused on these people. I want to be focused on my relationship with God. I want to be focused on my career. I want to be focused on the things that are that I want to be important to me, and so I need to make them my priority. So yeah. Let's see.
Where do you?
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, do you think fasting plays a role in this at all? Do you think that would help?
Yeah, I
or
think
is that more
so.
For a
Yeah.
hunger of God, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Because fasting is depriving your body of what it needs so that you can grow closer to, and you're replacing that with your intentionally seeking God. And so that's why, that's a hot take that we'll have another day, but I don't think fasting from social media is a real fast, because you don't need social media. You need food and water. And so typically, like, that's why back in the day, fasting wasn't just taking away something they wanted, it was taking away something they literally needed. They needed food and water, and when you deprive your body of that, you are able to then replace that and remind yourself of how much you need God, how much of a priority God should be in your life. And so that's why you have different types. Now there's different ways you can do that, because you don't necessarily need to like eat no food, but that is a form of fasting. That's what I did. I did I was aimed for 30 days, or no, I aimed for 40 days. I aimed for a 40-day water fast where I was just no food for 40 days and then only drink water. I made it 25 days and then I quit. Wow. And I broke it with 50 bowls of chili.
When did you do that?
Or 15 bowls of chili, not 50. Wow. Good Lord. That was a few years ago.
How much weight did you lose?
I actually didn't lose like any weight. I lost maybe 10 pounds, because when you deprive your body of that much of all food and it's just water, your metabolism slows down completely. And so with that experience, it was the ultimate detox for sure. I literally got like color brought back into my skin. Some scars had reappeared and rehealed, and it was like a whole, like, the ultimate detox for sure. It was super difficult. Like, I was working customer service at the time, and I literally, after typing on the keyboard, just doing work, my fingers would get sore the next day, just because you don't have any food whatsoever. So that's an extreme, like that was an extreme fast that they would do in biblical times. And there are other ways you don't have to fast from all food. Like, you can do the Daniel fast where you only eat vegetables and drink water. You can do a sun up to sundown Judaic fast, which is, when the sun's up and when the sun's up, you don't eat, but when the sun's not in the sky, you're able to eat. And then between that time, you're just drinking water. And so yeah, those little things. A day full. A good detox is like a 2-day or a 1-day full fast, like a 1 day no water, no food. It's just 1 day. There's that option as well. And so those little things like that, different ways that you can experiment with it. But yeah, fasting I would say is a great way to remind yourself that God should be a priority in your life. And so, yeah.
Do you think that everyone should fast? Like,
regularly,
like once a year?
Definitely. At the least once a year. But I haven't fasted in a long time. I want to do it again. And so I'll probably plan out at some point. I used to do 3 fasts a year, because I used to do where I would start the year with a water fast, and I would just do like a 7-day water fast. And then I would do a mid-year fast, which was like a Daniel fast. And then I would finish the year with a Judaic fast, and the sun up to sundown fast. So that's usually what I would do by year, but I haven't done it in a long time. I need to do it again. That'd be a great thing to get back into. Maybe that's another episode we can talk about fasting.
Yeah.
What is fasting? Although I guess we just had 2 episodes and one right here.
Yeah, true.
Well, your lucky day, listener. You got some bonus content. So, but yeah, man, we've been going for 30 minutes already. That went by really fast. So, yeah, listener, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, I encourage you, go check out our YouTube channel and follow our YouTube channel to be able to like some videos so that young adults can be able to see it and be inspired by it. Again, we want to thank Chill Hop Music for giving us the music, the hot beats we listening to. And so we appreciate y'all. Thank you again. And yeah, please share this episode with one friend. You can follow us on Instagram. And yeah, let us know how we can pray for you. We will see you all soon.
Boom.